Are you going to stay up here?
No. Welcome, everybody.
Raise your hand if you want Chris to stay up here as eye candy. Yeah. The people want it, bro. Get your coffee. How's everybody doing? What an intro, Renee.
Best intro ever, Renee.
I feel like we should start the first session by giving a round of applause and some honor to the team who put it together. Let's just stand up and give the team a round of applause. Tommy, Sarah, Renee, Ryan, Gabrielle. You guys know how much work something like this takes to pull off. Alex. So good. Team, for real, thank you. This is amazing. We are back home in the Noel, and what a good event. You got anything to say?
I'm just happy to be here, and I'm happy to see everybody.
I don't want this on my table. Sorry. You keep doing that. Nothing else to say?
That's it. That's all I...
If it's your first event, raise your hand so I can see. All right, get used to the banter. This is like nothing you've ever seen before. The first presentation we're going to do is on content creation. It's called Maverick. I think it's quite good. Because I built it. And if you've been to an event before, we usually do Q&A from the very beginning, but we're going to flip it around and we're going to have Q&A at the end after we go through some of the training, because we're always running out of time. So you can stay here if you want, but
I'm probably going to sit down.
It's kind of weird having you stand next to me without having anything
Well,
to do.
I am your emotional support.
He is, for sure. So we're going to go through this training. You can sit down. Just make sure you take notes. Chris.
Okay.
In the front. And I'm going to attempt to do something that I feel like is impossible and train you on my process for being a creator, a content creator, a producer, someone who can take information from the world and curate it. It's a good word. How many of you know what curate means? I studied before I got here this morning. In the last 2 months, I've put together probably 200 pages of content. We've written 2 books, webinars, onboarding material. How many of you know that every single one of you that's here is probably here because at some point you were exposed to content? Yes? Somewhere that came from me or Chris. And if you can become a producer, an elite producer, no pun intended, if you can develop the ability to communicate and articulate what you stand for better than anybody else can, then you own your market. Make sense? So, a couple different sections we'll go through. Molly, you okay? You good? Deep, you're creating already. You can tell. We'll go through a couple different sections of this material, and then I want you to write down questions that you have and save them for the very end. Sound good? Yeah. Everybody feeling good? Yeah. We do a lot of things. This is my favorite thing to do. Me and Chris are obviously deep in the real estate world now. We are hiring, and we have so many plates spinning, but I gotta say, this is probably my favorite thing of all of it. Is hanging out with you guys because you're exceptional. And there's something about a room filled with people who are all weird together, and everyone understands this weird drive to be great. And not a lot of times can you find an environment as healthy as this. So thanks for being here. Real quick, learning is the foundation. If you can learn how to learn well, then you are going to make everything else easier when it comes to being a producer. You know what that means? Yeah? breaking you up a little bit. James, you know what that means? Nobody's listening to me. It's like I'm telling jokes up here. If you can learn how to learn well, it's going to make everything else easier. Why? Why is that? Expands your brain. It does make you faster. Yeah, that's why speed learning is a thing. 100%. People who have a lot to say typically are those who have learned a lot. And I have a lot to say because I'm always taking in new information. So I'm just going to hit this quick, and there's 4 levels to learning. Study well, write well, talk well, and teach. Study well, write well, talk well, and teach well. And I'm going to come back to this multiple times throughout the training because just because you can learn does not necessarily make you a producer, but you can't be a producer unless you have the ability to learn. Here's the second thing I need you to write down while the first table in front of me figures out how to get on the Zoom. 4 levels to my content creation process: consumption, connection, articulation, and creation. This table is stressing me out so much. You're carrying the whole table with you. You got it? Consumption, connection, articulation, and creation. So I'm going to take you through these 4 steps, and they build all on top of each other. How many of you have ever felt like you have too much to learn, or all of these pieces of content, and it stresses you out? Raise your hands. If you've never been stressed out with having things to learn, I think maybe we need to have a different conversation. You're probably not being honest. But my biggest obstacle, if I go back over the last few years, is I've got all these things I want to learn. I've got all these podcasts. I've got books on my Kindle that I won't read for a year. I don't know if this is just a personal addiction that I have. You like this too? I get so excited on a Saturday morning when I go through like Audible or Kindle and I just buy stuff. And then Monday I'm freaked out because I don't know what to read. Yeah? It's just me? Like this is a big problem in my life. And the biggest obstacle has been decision fatigue. But I think that I'm an analogy guy, so if you can look at when's the last time you've been stressed out because there's so much food to eat? Don't be embarrassed, this is family. So the fit pros in the group probably, that's it. I started thinking about this information like food, and I got this from Andrew Carnegie. Most of the time, fatigue comes from thinking that you have to consume it all. And how many of you cannot stop reading a book once you start it? Yeah. That's a personal issue. I'll help you with it. You got plenty of time. You don't have to consume everything you start. Andrew Carnegie said a man's reading program should be as carefully planned as his daily diet, for that too is food, without which he cannot grow mentally.
That's good, bro.
That's real good. If you feel inspired, you can stand up to your feet, get on the table, give you a round of applause. I will not stop you. The key to becoming a great producer is becoming a disciplined consumer. That's good too, isn't it? Thank you, bro. The key to becoming a great producer is becoming a disciplined consumer. So, if you can see the screen, this is going to help you a lot. If you can't, just take notes as fast as you can, Molly. I organized my study diet. I have a study diet now because I don't want to be put in a position where we're at the end of the month and I read a little bit of a million things and have no idea what's going on and none of it was helpful, and that compounds the stress. So I have a study diet that I specifically put together for what I want to learn. Make sense? Anybody else already have this? Good, so this is helpful, I'm assuming. I organize it in 2 ways, medium and category. So you can be like, man, Taylor, this is crazy. I don't want to get this deep into my study diet, but this is how I put out 200 pages in the last 2 months and how we create the products and we create the courses. And I have yet to find a marketing team who can keep up with the course creation, but Mike Heiser's working on it. Mike, you here? There he is, right there in the back. Such a good man. Medium and category.